something you listen to, but a place to engage with. Don't just tune in, take part. News Talk 830 WCCO. Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news. Plus, whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host,
Jason DeRUSHA.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio and streaming to the world at WCCOradio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DeRUSHA.
I don't like these traffic cameras that are coming in, these speed enforcement cameras that are coming to Minneapolis, 40 or so, part of the state pilot program. And my reason is different than some kind of the Chad Hartman reason, which Chad was saying that he feels like he wants to have a conversation. It sounded to me like Chad wants to talk his way out of a ticket. My reason is that it's an unfair fight. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason. Dan is here. Susie is here. 651-461-9226. Where are you on these cameras? We have avoided them in Minnesota. I've seen them in Illinois. I've seen them in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. They are in many other parts of the country. And generally, they're red light cameras, and I'm actually in favor of a red light camera. You put up a sign at an intersection. You say, we got a camera. The GPS now tells you, red light camera ahead. You know, you get the warning. And just like on the GPS, you hear like, speed enforcement ahead. You think, better. Now, for me, I think good thing I'm driving the posted speed limit like a true law-abiding American. That's what I do. Feels like an unfair fight. Now, look, I mean, if we could use cameras to catch killers, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a different deal. I'm talking about, look, if you're going 8 over, I'm worried about people running red lights. I see that all the time. Since COVID especially, you've seen sort of an explosion. And I think the reason for it is simple, is because we're currently not in a fair fight. And here's what I mean. We're not in a fair fight because we're so understaffed in our law enforcement agencies. So there was a time that it felt like a fair fight. If you have 750 licensed police officers in Minneapolis, you have enough officers to do some, light red light monitoring and some speed control. And right now, you just don't. You don't. The police are doing a million other things, more important things they should be worried about. But I don't think that I should get a ticket for going 10 over. Well, maybe for 10 over. It depends on the speed limit. When are they going to send us a ticket? Do we know, Dan? I don't think they've said exactly how this is going to work.
No, I don't think they've said what the line is, and I don't think that they will be telling us what the line is.
Oh, I bet
because the line
they
is
will.
the speed limit.
No.
Well, but that's what they want you to think.
That's
my point.
Right.
They want you to think that the line is the speed limit, so they're not going to tell you, well, if you're 5 over, you're good.
I don't need a conversation like Chad wanted to have a conversation, I think. I think Chad's view is the same as mine. I'm just saying that I want a chance to possibly break the law. That's what I want. I just want a chance. This is what when you think about most laws. Now, a lot of you, the good people, a lot of you follow the law just because it's the right thing to do. Most of us follow the law because we don't think we're going to get caught. Or we do think we're going to get caught. That's why we follow the law. You worry about getting caught. You worry about the reality of what happens when you caught. It's why I think incredibly harsh punishments against drunk driving is such a good idea. Because then you're worried. I don't know. I think one of the most effective things when you think about drunk driving, and yes, obviously there is the risk that you could cause harm or death, right? But that is also true every time you get in a car. There's always the chance. So these things, the way we kind of work through this in our mind, I think is it's a balancing act of what's the punishment? What are the odds that I'm going to get caught? Otherwise, why does anybody speed? If the law itself was enough, it's not. The law itself is not enough. The fact that you might get caught is what makes people follow laws that are sort of those low-level laws. There are a reason, and a texter saying, Jason, why should it be a fair fight when it comes to breaking the law? Well, so it should be a fair fight in these laws where they're sort of low-level stuff. Why is it a law? Why isn't it just a sign with a suggestion? Why isn't it just, we would like you to go this speed limit? So there's a reason we set laws with lower penalties, and it's because it's a lower priority. Now, if any of you want to text it and say, every single law you follow exactly to the letter, I would love to hear from you, because I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Do you round up on your taxes? Do you report maybe a little more of a gift to your church? And by the way, lying about giving to your church is about as low as it goes. Did you drop off something at Goodwill that you said was in good condition for your accountant, but really it was a ratty old T-shirt? So, like, do you ever go 1 mile over the speed limit? Dan Cook is a notorious law abider when it comes to speeding.
I'm a rule follower.
But you have gone over the limit.
Oh, I drive over the speed limit all the time. I just don't go more than like 7 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Right. So if they set this camera thing at 3 miles over, you're getting a ticket.
Yep.
Do you accept that? You think it's fine?
Yeah, because I drove faster than the speed limit.
I think it should be a fair fight.
I don't see. Now,
I think a human being should have to come and get you.
I don't see any unfairness in this at all. We all know what the speed limit is.
Why not?
Spots.
Then why not put cameras everywhere?
Well,
monitoring everything.
There's a cost prohibition to that. I think I just made up a word.
Yeah.
Maybe cost prohibitive.
Maybe not.
Well, and I also think this is a test program. I think if this starts working and it's successful in reducing speeds and bringing a little extra do-re-mi to Minneapolis, guess where everybody else is going to do?
Yeah. I say yes to the red light camera because that's
something you don't do. That's why.
No, I've never run a red light.
You don't run red lights, so get the other guys. Don't get me.
Yes, get the other guys. Don't get me.
That's what you're doing.
And they give you a fair shot. They put the sign up. You're like, all right, here it's coming. Now they'll have to put the sign up at these intersections, speed monitor, whatever. I would prefer the red light enforcement. That's what I think. 651-461-9226. Often I can have a very clear explanation as to why I believe something. And this is an example where I just believe it. Do I have a good justification for why I want it to be a fair fight?
Unclear.
Oh, I think it's quite clear. I do not. But I do want it to be a fair fight. It's not fair. They can put up 200 cameras all over the city. There's no way they could hire 200 cops. That's not fair. It's not fair. Ugel on YouTube says, I think cameras should be used for texting and driving. That's pretty good. I would be in favor of that. What do you think? Calls coming in. Text to 651-461-9226. We'll talk more about this in just a minute here on Drive Time.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I was just at Tureen Dermatology visiting Dr. Mohiba Tureen, and she is incredible. It's Jason here for the best team when it comes to taking care of your skin, and that is the Tureen team. You can book an appointment. I'm going to give you their website right now. It is TAREEN dermatology.com, TureenDermatology.com, because you can book an appointment right from that homepage. It says request an appointment. You click on it. and off you go. Is it medical? Well, my wife was just there because she had a full body skin checkup, which I do every year. She does every 6 months because skin cancer, unfortunately, is in her family genetics. But you go to the Tureen team. They make you feel good. They make you feel comfortable. And she had to do a little follow-up on something they biopsied. No big deal. Because you catch it early, you take care of it. I also can get an appointment for cosmetic services at Tureen Dermatology. And maybe it's a skincare question or an anti-aging treatment or a laser treatment, whatever the case may be. One website gets you to all of it. The team is amazing. They'll see you within 3 weeks. Tareen. And I say that because sometimes you have to wait 3 months. They're in Lakeville now. They're in Eagan. They're in Roseville. Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
Experience an unforgettable weekend in downtown Minneapolis. Taste of Minnesota 2025. Saturday, July 5th. Featuring Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And Cheap Trick. Along with a Juicy Lucy Hall of Flame. And Sunday, July 6th. Featuring Ludacris. And Nerdy. And Sunday Fun Day from noon to 10 p.m. each day. Enjoy live music across 3 stages. Indulge in mouthwatering local cuisine. Explore inspiring art, culture, and more. Located along Washington Avenue and Nicollet Mall. Taste of Minnesota offers a true feast for the senses. And a chance to celebrate all things Minnesota. Visit tasteofmn.com for more.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Add some star-spangled style to your summer with Ashley's Stars and Stripes sale going on now. Shop Hot Buys for every room in your home, now just $6.99. Plus, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide. And don't miss upgrading your patio. Save up to 20% on select outdoor furniture. Or feel the freedom to buy now and pay over time with 0% interest until 2030 on in-store purchases made with your Ashley Advantage Synchrony credit card. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Let's roll with more of Jason DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
People dream high in the quiet of the night. You know that I.
All right, we're talking about red light / speed cameras. They are coming to Minneapolis, part of a pilot program that was it was passed by the state legislature. There is little question that these things are, especially the red light cameras, have an incredible impact on crashes. That's why I'm in favor of those red light cameras, because the fatal crashes that get prevented by knowing that you can't run a red light are it's significant. The speed cameras, I'm less convinced. It feels more like a money grab to me. Let's go to Joe in Minneapolis, who's on the CCO Talk and Text line. Hey, Joe.
I'm against all these cameras. This is insane. I drive a motorcycle, and if I pull up to an intersection, sometimes my motorcycle won't trip it. I'm going to sit there for a while and wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if there's no car coming, I'm going. I'm smarter than this traffic light. I'm not going to let a guy smoke me. And the guy who does run a red light and gets hit, no camera is going to stop that guy because he's obviously a lunatic. You know what I mean? There are guys out you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, there is
you
a lot.
know?
Well,
And that's
and your point about that, if you're a motorcycle sitting at an intersection and the light doesn't change, an officer who's there and sees it is going to understand that and let you off, right?
well,
9 times out of 10.
I've had cops pull up next to me with their car to trip the light.
Yeah.
I've actually had that happen.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is you can't fix stupid. You see these people, the biggest problem we have are people texting on their phones, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
The distracted drivers. The lady going 5 under the speed limit, she's on her phone, not paying attention.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the guy come by me going 15 miles an hour over. At least he's paying attention. That's my biggest problem.
Thanks.
And then,
no, keep going. You're good.
I used to be a bartender. I hate to tell you, you go out Friday, Saturday night, 1 o'clock in the morning, half the people are drunk.
Yes.
Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. But yet they're okay. It's just this whole camera thing.
And it is
a money
unfortunate.
grab,
I think
100%.
in Minnesota, you're not allowed to do. Remember when they used to do like the random pullovers? You'd have like on
Yep.
And I was on vacation in Florida, and they were doing that. I saw them doing that on the highway. But we can't do that here. But let's put up 50 cameras to bust people going 7 over. I don't know. Just seems crazy to me.
Exactly.
Thanks,
I'm
Joe.
totally against the camera thing. Yep.
Appreciate it. Here comes Jim in Duluth. Jim, you're on the CCO Talking Text line. Thanks for calling, Jim. What do you think about this?
I've always loved the show, Jason.
Thank you.
I think the cameras are another step towards a police state. To police are, to be more in control and have more eyes. So I'm not a fan. What I am a fan of is if cities would consider bringing back the traffic division. I would happily pay fines if that officer pulled me over and saw me and told me that I ran that red light.
Yeah.
I did that stuff. Have an interaction. I don't see them doing it's a bit lazy as well, but they don't ticket any longer the way you used to ticket. And I'm not sure even actually that they're monitoring many of the maybe the thoroughfares in downtowns, but they're not ticketing, as they used to.
Right.
And that was a moneymaker, but there's no people in it anymore. So again,
and the risk,
policing.
The risk of pulling somebody over and having it go south, I think scared a lot of that off too. Yeah, the data bears that out. We are writing fewer citations for traffic type things. Jim, thank you. Pete in Burnsville, you're on CCO. Cameras, Pete, what do you think?
Well, let's just dial my personal clock back a few years. We had 5 licensed drivers in my house and 6 vehicles, four cars, a pickup, and a motorcycle. My question to you, Jason, just not in an argumentative case, I'm wondering what your thoughts are. So the red light camera or the speed camera, for example, catches your vehicle.
Right.
Who gets the ticket?
Well, under this program, it's going to be the owner of the vehicle, and it doesn't go on your record, so it's not like going to be an insurance thing. And the first time you get a warning, so they've sort of set it up, I think, in the best way they can. But it is, right now in our house we have 4 drivers, 3 cars, and so it's sort of a luck of the draw as to who's driving which car.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it best or least ugly, perhaps.
I agree with you, yeah.
Been down this road, I got a speeding ticket from a camera in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah.
The car was leased and issued to me as an employee of a company. And so the fleet manager at my employer in 3 states away was notified that this car with this tag at this time was caught speeding in another state.
Yeah.
And I was advised by our fleet manager to get the ticket paid.
Yeah.
So I had a cashier's check.
Pete, I hate to stop you, but the cell phone connection is so bad. I think we kind of got the gist of it. that Pete. That is one of the issues with this, and it's part of why they set it up in a way where it's not like a regular criminal. It's more like a parking ticket, where the same bit is if you. So it doesn't matter who's driving your car. If it's parked in the wrong spot, that's how it is. I hope it works. I suspect that in the intersections they deploy this, they will have, if you have less speeding, hopefully you'll have fewer people running the red lights. Something has to be done. I'm just not sure this is the fix. 3:29. Let's break, because in just a couple of minutes we're going to speak with a Minneapolis City Council member, because I refuse to let this story just fade away. An 11-year-old shot and killed in Minneapolis in broad daylight yesterday in a park. What happened? There's still a lot of questions. What are we going to do about it? That's what I'm going to ask City Council member LaTrisha Vetaw in just a minute here on Drive Time.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You gave it your all out there. Morning News with Vanita crushed it. Adam and Jordana, you owned the viewpoint. And when Chad Hartman brought the heat, you stared it down like a champion. You didn't flinch during some stressful Twins games, then powered through CCO's How To Saturday without losing focus. That's not just stamina, that's WCCO spirit. That's Hall of Fame level listening.
Binge the broadcasts at News Talk 830 WCCO, because champions are made one headline at a time.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Thielen Meats of Pierce is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Pierce.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
When a loved one passes, or it's time to settle an estate, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, we help families, trustees, and advisors navigate these moments with clarity and care. For over 30 years, American Rare Coin has evaluated and purchased coin and precious metal collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. Located on American Boulevard, we make the process simple. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. Visit AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You log into your DSP. It's confusing. Where do you build a campaign? Where's the report? Targeting's vague, CTV's tacked on and overpriced. Then you find Viant. Setup? Just a chat prompt. AI does the rest. Targeting? People-based and precise across premium publishers. Measurement? Transparent, outcome-driven. And CTV? We've led since streaming meant something. Viant is the DSP that actually gets advertising. Still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
Chances are you wanted a home with enough space for your growing family when you were younger. If you bought one and the kids are older now and have moved out, you've probably asked yourself if all the maintenance that comes along with owning a bigger home is really worth it. Hey, it's Vanita. If you're thinking of downsizing, you need to call my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Dean and Nancy did that, and they had a huge property with almost 12 acres of land. They contacted John, and he was able to do things fast for them for top dollar. Dean and Nancy's home sold in less than 72 hours for more than $25,000 over the asking price. You can have this happen too. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Miller Marine of St. Cloud, world's largest Bennington dealer. Scratch and dent sales going on right now. 94 westbound near Cretan got a stalled vehicle. It's blocking the center lane. State Patrol is on the scene. I think they're going to try and push it off to the shoulder if possible. In the meantime, get ready for the slowing past Snelling Avenue. North 169 approaching I-94. Got an accident working there. Look at the right lane to be shut down. Stop and go stuff in place as you come up from Rockford Road. 494 northbound slowing. You come up from Rockford Road as well, heading to the Fish Lake interchange. Play before you pay now at Miller Marine and Power Lodge. Get 90 days with no payments or 5.99% APR and score a Bennington pontoon trailer and cover combo for just $34,999. Hurry, offer ends soon at Minnesota's Marine and Power Sports Superstore. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
This is a pretty good text from a retired police officer who said that the biggest change agent when it comes with a traffic stop or with a speeder or red light runner is that pullover, that interaction, the education. So this retired cop says this whole thing is just an attempt to dip into your pocket. Interesting. All right, let's get you the weather. Gutman Law bringing the forecasters, Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will increase tonight as we settle back to around 65 by tomorrow morning. Speaking of morning, that's when we expect the rain to arrive. Perhaps a few isolated rumbles of thunder. Not expecting anything severe, but we are expecting a pretty good soaking. 71 tomorrow's high with more rain on Thursday, drying out Friday and warming up. It'll be humid as well. Saturday, we could hit 90.
79 in St. Paul on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind a lot, especially through social, but also through listeners, is humorless.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
An 11-year-old boy was shot to death yesterday afternoon, just about 24 hours ago, 2 p.m. in the afternoon. It should infuriate you. It does infuriate me. This is a result of so many different things. There's a culture issue that has disputes being solved with guns. Now, in this case, we have a lot of questions still as to what exactly happened. And to get some insight, I want to bring in the city council member for Ward 4, which this happened in her neighborhood. It's LaTrisha Vetaw, who's with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. LaTrisha, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Jason.
I just want to make sure that we keep talking about this story because we can't have 11-year-old boys shot in the middle of we can't have them shot and killed, period. But in the middle of the park, in the middle of the day on a Monday, this is not acceptable. How did you first find out about this?
So I was at a city council meeting and got a text from the 4th Precinct inspector just saying that there had been a shooting and the victim was on Penn and Dowling Avenue. And after the meeting was over, I just headed over to the scene. And when I got to the scene, I found out that it was a little boy. I mean, he was so tiny, I could see him. So I knew it was a little boy. But I didn't know who he was or that he was 11 years old or anything like that. He actually looked smaller than I have an 11-year-old nephew, and he looked much smaller than my 11-year-old nephew.
You know, when you look at obviously the tragedy for this boy's family, for what future this boy had ahead of him, is the first thought for me. But the second thought is what's going on, right? Like, what is going on that we've got gunfire happening in the middle of the day? Is it too many guns? Is it too much of a willingness to escalate disputes to gunfire? What, I mean, this is your neighborhood. What are the things that run through your head?
I mean, all the things you just said, but more than anything, how did this happen? Right? Like, where did this gun come from? The first article I saw in the paper yesterday was one about a straw buyer who had they found guns connected to two other children who had been shot and killed in North Minneapolis some years ago. You know, a straw buyer purchasing guns and potentially selling them was something I read yesterday. So I immediately thought, how did this happen? How did this baby get shot and killed by a gun at a neighborhood park?
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like we've been asking this question for too long, right? And that finding a solution or turning things around, especially since COVID started, it feels like we've had more of these incidents where it's just so hard to make any sense out of it, right? And in this case, like, we really still have a lot of questions. Have you learned anything more as far as, you know, was this 11-year-old boy caught kind of in the crossfire, or was he the target of this? Do we really know much about what the reasoning was here?
I mean, I was out there yesterday for close to 3 hours, and there was just so many rumors flying. You know, like, I really don't know what happened. And that's why I'm waiting until the investigation happens to find out more. I mean, there were just so many things. I heard from people on the scene saying the police had did it. And I mean, that was just not true at all. Actually, Lieutenant Hand tried his best to save that baby's life. You know, the Good Samaritan who picked him up and tried to take him to the hospital, they were there trying life-saving measures on this baby. And so it was just so many rumors. You just don't know what really happened. But what you do leave those scenes with, and what you wake up feeling, is, what are we going to do to stop it from ever happening again? And there's so many things. It's not just about gun control. It's about, what are our children doing at 2:00 in the afternoon, right? Like, how did this happen had so many layers to it. And as a council member, that's what I'm interested in. Finding out the facts about what happened, and what can I do at the city level, and who I need to work with at any level to make sure this never happens again.
That's LaTrisha Vetaw from the 4th Ward, Minneapolis City Council member. There is a silver lining for sure in that Good Samaritan, Troy Young. He did a couple TV interviews, talked to the newspaper as well. But you think, like, here is another one of your neighbors who's just sitting on his porch when a boy runs by shouting that his brother had been shot, and this guy gets in his pickup truck and goes and just jumps into, he didn't know what he was jumping into. Not
at all.
Just an incredible sort of human neighbor helping a neighbor response there.
Absolutely. I'm so thankful for Troy. And he was on the scene yesterday, and I could see that he was shook up and he wanted to do better. As a community, we just have to keep encouraging him and let him know he did the right thing, and he's the hero. Like I said, him and Lieutenant Hand did their best yesterday.
And
they
that
really did their best.
That lieutenant who was at an intersection, right, and ended up jumping in the car and then pulling the kid out. And so much good, but so much sadness for me. And early this afternoon, the medical examiner's office identified the boy, so we can remember his name. But Amir Atkins is his name, 11 years old, according to the newspaper. But just, you know, you do think it is the start of summer. This is my fear, right? That here we are at the start of summer. It is a time when young people are not in school. Maybe parents are still working. You have high temperatures, more time, idle mind, more time. All of these things that our parents used to say are still true. What does the council do going forward?
I mean, for me, I was out there. I talked to the family. I'm hoping to stay connected to the family to figure out what resources they need specifically. But, there's a lot of community members out there who showed a huge interest in figuring out what we need to do. So as a council member, I want to support these families, not only in my ward, but throughout the city to make sure they have the resources they need for their children. Right? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just about sharing information.
Yeah, no doubt. Are we too soft on gun crime and crime in general?
I think so. I think it really has gotten to a place of we're not really holding people accountable for the things they're doing, in particular with guns. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I worry about the young people who are criminals. I understand why we've sort of gone down this road of trying to rehabilitate and because you don't want to just give up on people when they're 15 or 16 or 17. Not that we know how old the shooter here, no one's been arrested as far as I know. So we don't know how old the people were that were involved in this. But the reality is partially because we don't exactly have the facilities to keep kids who are criminals and arrested, and partially because I think we kind of went down this road of thinking like maybe there was a better way to give justice to young people. But we had
I think we've tried that.
We
and
tried
it's
it.
not.
And
it's not working.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not working. I think it's okay to try new things. And I think there'll be some element of that still in this. But the kinds of crimes that's committed matter, right? Like there are ways in which we support our young people through mistakes they've made, or, it's not about throwing away the key. It really is about rehabilitation that fits the need of that child. And you can't just say there are no consequences to anything, that you can do something and there's no consequences. That's not okay. I mean, as a person who was a child before and had consequences, I understand what that means, right? When your parents say you're on punishment, you can't come outside. You feel that. You try your best not to make that mistake again because you want to be outside in the summer with your friends.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's we in this case you look and you say, all right, we got an 11-year-old killed. Whoever did this needs to go away for life, I think. I mean, we can't tolerate this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the circumstances in which this happened, but I do know that there's got to be consequences for 11-year-olds being shot and killed in the neighborhood park. I think we need to, as a community, we need to have conversations about what those consequences are, because it just can't be anything. It can't be nothing. There's got to be something. And there's got to be, in addition to that, like yesterday, all I could think out there was about how many families are affected by that, right? Yeah, it's this 11-year-old boy's family, but I don't know who else was at the park at 2:00 in the afternoon, whose kids were just swinging on swings and heard the gunshots go off, the trauma, Troy, and everyone else involved, right? It's not just about one family. It's about how the entire community is affected by this. And then if we don't get justice, we all want justice for this baby, for this 11-year-old boy. So justice means that someone has to be held accountable, and we need to make sure that it's not just like not happening and not being talked about. People who were there yesterday need to speak up if they saw something and say it, because it's not okay for somebody who did this to just still be out with a gun in this community.
LaTrisha Vetaw, the city council member for that part of North Minneapolis where this happened. I appreciate you. Thanks for being on, LaTrisha.
Thank you, Jason.
It is 3:48. We are going to break. Important stuff, right? We can't just let these stories kind of pop up like it's a thing and then forget about it. First of all, we got to find out who did this, right? And we'll have the latest in the news throughout the updates throughout the rest of the night. Traffic and weather together coming up. It is Twins Ticket Tuesday, so make sure you keep listening. We are giving away a 2-pack of a 4. How about 4? I was only going to give you 2, and Dan's like, come on, man. How about 4? Fine. We'll give away 4 for July 4th. How fun is that? July 4th, Friday night, Tampa Bay. It's got to be fireworks, right? Tickets for that are at twins.com/ maybe not. It's a 3:10 start, so you'll be out of there. If they have fireworks, it wouldn't be quite much of a show. What, at 3:10? July 4th? Wait for the sounder. Don't call now. Back in a minute with some wisdom about teeth.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I got some wisdom about Chris Lindahl. It's Jason here for my friend Chris and the guaranteed cash offer. Guaranteed cash offer. I cannot believe how many people are taking advantage of it. I was talking with Chris about this the other day, and he said, we are hopping. And the reason makes sense after he explained it to me. He's like, look, we have so much uncertainty in the world right now, so much uncertainty in the market. If you need to sell quickly and get to the finish line with no nonsense, this is the best way to do it. The reality is the market is taking a look at these guaranteed cash offers, and they're saying, you know what, my peace of mind, the speed that we get done with, the ability to move on with my life, whether it means moving, whether it means a family situation that gets resolved, that you get a check, you get to pick your moving date, you get to pick your closing date, you are in control. Put your arms out for Lindahl. Do the Lindahl. What the heck? ChrisLindahl.com. Go to the website, get your guaranteed offer, cash offer today, and start packing. Terms and conditions may apply.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here, you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
O'Reilly! Save money on your next full synthetic oil change at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. We can recommend all the oil change supplies you need. Shop your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
North 169 and I-94 crash has been cleared. Right lanes reopened. We've got the slowdowns those that come up from Medicine Lake Road. 610 eastbound jamming up Broadway over to 252. If you're traveling west 94, that's a slow ride into Minneapolis. You come in from Cretin Avenue. Blocking stall in that stretch has been taken care of. East 94 watching slowdowns there. Lexington into downtown St. Paul. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, the forecast is great for the rest of the day and questionable at best over the next couple of days. So tonight, low temperature 62. Tomorrow, rain in the afternoon and then raining through much of Thursday. 71 will be the high for the next couple of days. Warms up for the weekend, 87 on Saturday. Right now, it's 82 in Minneapolis. Great night to go to the Twins game on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Took Sam today to get his wisdom teeth removed. Do you still have your wisdom teeth, Dan?
I sure do.
I have my wisdom teeth as well.
I'm hanging on to those suckers for as long as I can.
I debated whether or not to share the photo on our YouTube stream.
I think you made the right call not to.
Of Sam post-op with the gauze in his mouth. Yeah. You don't think I should put that on the screen?
I don't think Sammy would really be super enthused about you sharing that. And B, I don't think the people want to see it.
I don't know. It's kind of funny. Well, they can comment. You can leave a comment
let us know,
on X if you're listening on X. Or
I think you're doing them a favor by not sharing.
The clinic we went to was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Very nice. This doc, all he does is wisdom teeth. So it was sort of like, there's a little like an assembly line in there.
Sure.
Quite impressive.
You think you ever get bored just if that's all you're doing is yanking wisdom teeth out of people's jaws?
He didn't seem bored.
Okay. Might get a little repetitive, it would think. I don't know.
Well, some teeth. So when you look at the x-ray, like Sam's wisdom teeth, they're like sideways.
Yeah.
So here's what I think is funny, because I always ask people this question when they have like some sort of thing removed surgically. Do you get to keep it? Would you want to keep it?
Yeah, that would be my question. Why would you want to?
Sam did ask if he could have his teeth. So Sam's got gauze in his mouth. He's got gauze in his mouth.
Did he ask before the procedure?
No,
or
after.
After being all looped up on whatever they put him on.
All right, I'm sharing the picture. So
Okay,
after
there
the
we go.
procedure.
I'm sorry, Sam. I tried.
WCCO Radio YouTube channel. So after the procedure, Sam's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, pardon? Can I have my teeth? I'm like, you want your teeth? As a souvenir. Yes. And the doc said, okay, so we have 4 wisdom teeth. Oh, it's like when you go to the mechanic and they give you like the old part just to prove that they took it out. Pretty good. Pretty good. CBS News coming up in a minute here on Drive Time.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
The station of record for the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and the Upper Midwest. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The ceasefire between Iran and Israel got off to a shaky start, but after pressure from President Trump, both sides say they're sticking to it. Reporter Robert Berger in Jerusalem. The sense is that the ceasefire is going to hold. Iran has been hit hard, and it really needs a ceasefire. And while Israel has had the upper hand, President Trump has sent a tough warning to refrain from further airstrikes. Even though the tensions have subsided, security is high in this country, and Nicole Skanga reports there have been arrests.
ICE officials have arrested 11 Iranian nationals spanning 8 states nationwide. Among them, 5 possessed previous criminal convictions, their crimes ranging from grand larceny to drug and firearm possessions. These arrests come as the Department of Homeland Security is alerting the public of a heightened threat environment in the U.S.
The administration postponed classified briefings for lawmakers today on the Iran strategy. That prompted an angry reaction from Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer.
Senators deserve full transparency. There is a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening. What are they afraid of?
A man arrested for supplying chemicals to the Palm Springs fertility clinic bomber has died in custody. Matt Piper has that.
Daniel Park has been found unresponsive at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. He was sent there earlier this month after he was extradited from Poland, where he fled to 4 days after the attack on a fertility clinic. The 32-year-old Park was accused of supplying chemicals to Guy Bartkus, the bomber, who died in the May 17th explosion. There is not yet a cause of death.
The eastern U.S. is baking.
Hydration, hydration, hydration. If you're starting to feel thirsty, you've already waited too long. In this kind of an environment, you should be drinking water like it's medicine.
Jamie Falcon of the Ocean City, Maryland Beach Patrol. Heat records are being shattered as far north as Boston. President Trump is looking to boost manufacturing in this country, but factories were already having trouble finding workers. Michael Wallace says that.
400,000 manufacturing jobs are unfilled. Economist Ron Hetrick at Lightcast says for generations we've told people they have to go to college to be successful. Now, as more baby boomer factory workers retire, fewer young people are interested in those jobs.
There's a tremendous amount of need for that kind of non-college degreed worker, and a very big misunderstanding that we seem to have a lot of them out there.
Economists fear President Trump's immigration crackdown could also leave factories shorthanded.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials finished the day 507 points higher. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy skies, 80 degrees now at 4:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. Governor Tim Walz getting a firsthand look at the storm damage in Beltrami County.
Saw a lot of damage. An unprecedented storm hit right in
Beltrami and its surrounding areas.
Thousands still without power. Dozens of buildings have been destroyed or badly damaged after winds of more than 120 miles an hour tore through the area on Saturday. The governor adding that he has seen a lot of neighbors helping one another.
Also saw the grace of God and a lot of preparation by the professionals you're going to hear from with no injuries or loss of life.
He praised the emergency management team in Beltrami County for alerting residents that the storm was coming again last Saturday. Some 15,000 nurses in 13 Minnesota hospitals have now voted to authorize a strike. Talks have been going on since early this year and little progress has been made. Sydney Patterson is a registered nurse at Fairview Riverside.
It's hard to believe that we're here facing this situation again. A reality once again, hospitals are refusing to work with nurses at the bargaining table, especially when it comes to patient safety, protecting nursing staff, and ensuring a healthy, sustainable workplace for everybody.
The union must give hospital administrators a 10-day notice before a strike can start. A private funeral for House Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman will take place on Saturday.
The funeral is scheduled to begin at 10:30 Saturday morning, and space is limited for the service. It will be live streamed. The funeral comes after Hortman lies in state at the Capitol building. That'll happen on Friday afternoon, and the public can pay their respects from noon until 5 p.m. Governor Walz made the announcement of the services this morning. Hortman is the first woman to lie in state at the Capitol, an honor given to fewer than 20 Minnesotans. Hortman and her husband were shot and killed on June 14th. Their golden retriever also killed in the attack. Hortman, her husband, and their dog Gilbert will all lie in state on Friday. Al Schock, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The Taste of Minnesota is back this 4th of July with new foods and attractions.
The festival returns July 5th and 6th, transforming downtown Minneapolis into a foodie's paradise. Food ambassador Chef Andrew Zimmern announcing a partnership that's bringing Matt's Bar's legendary Juicy Lucy's to the festival.
I think it's a uniquely Minnesotan thing that now other people all around the country are copying as I travel, so I'm pretty excited.
Organizers are expecting more than 100,000 people to attend the two-day festival. In Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in store online. You're going to find your slowdowns. West 94 in place as you make the run from 169 heading up to Weaver Lake Road. 694 jammed up both directions between Rice Street and 252. South 35W slowing through Burnsville, out of Bloomington into Burnsville. It's coming down from 98th Street. Shop street savings at Whole Foods Market. Get organic red cherries for $4.99 per pound with Prime through June 24th. Bring a bag to your summer picnic to share with your friends. While supplies last, shop in store online. Terms apply. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Clogged gutters? Call the pros. Advantage Home Pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, seamless gutter installation, cleaning, and covers, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And it is brought to you this time by Advantage Home Pros. Experience the advantage at AdvantageHomePros.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Will stay dry overnight, but those clouds will be increasing, falling back to 65. Rain by morning looks like it could last throughout much of the day. 71 the afternoon high. Some towns could see a pretty good soaking. More rain on Thursday. I don't think it'll be as much as tomorrow, but it will linger as well with a high of 72. Drying out Friday and Saturday. We could hit 90 on Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Right now, mostly cloudy skies. 80 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Talk of the town and of the moment.
Great way to stay up to date.
News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRUSHA. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRUSHA.
Does anyone really know what is going on in Iran? The news is breaking like crazy this afternoon, and we are in a circumstance where I have no idea who or what to believe. Welcome to Drive Time. It's our second hour. On CNN, the headline right now, early U.S. intel suggests that U.S. bombing on Iran only set back Iran's nuclear program by a few months. And the New York Times has that same story. White House, if you go over to Fox News, is blaming a, quote, low-level loser for Iran intel leak. White House says assessment is flat out wrong. Remember when news media was sort of fact-checking things often? And today, how do you fact-check anything as it's going on? Because everyone is spinning. I don't know if the preliminary classified U.S. report that says our bombing, did it do anything? Did it not? I don't know what to believe. I would tell you right now, I will give, and I imagine most of you are going to give the benefit of the doubt to whoever you agree with politically, right? The New York Times report says the bombing sealed off the entrances to two of the nuclear facilities that Iran had, but did not collapse their underground buildings. So they're saying it set back the nuclear program by only a few months. The White House and President Trump has said the nuclear facilities were obliterated. You know, one man's obliterated, another man's, well, we knocked off the entrance. It is suspicious that Congress was going to be briefed on this today, and now that session is being pushed back to Thursday. I think you can say that this action and the bluster and the tough talk from President Trump was effective. To me, it was effective. But as always, you have to, if you're in the Trump White House, you have to take something that was effective in that it was an instrument that was used to lead to a ceasefire, however tenuous, but that ceasefire has been holding after a little bit of overnight drama. It's been holding throughout the day, Israel and Iran. And so you say, all right, the U.S. launched a couple of bombs. No Americans lost their lives or were injured or anything like that. And we stopped the conflict. Isn't that enough? Like, I'm sorry, I guess, like, and now we're going to spend 2 days saying, like, no, they're lying, fake news, loser this, loser that. Because we can't just tell the truth. It is sort of a disgusting era of American politics that look, White Houses have always spun, and they've always selectively shared information, right? If you want to consider withholding information to be lying, then every White House has lied. This White House appears to me to do it with glee and vigor and all in all the time. And so everything is the greatest obliteration in the history of the world when maybe it's less. Now, the caution, of course, is that this preliminary report, only 5 pages, is the early assessment, right? Like I think we've been saying all along that it's going to take a little while to know what the long-term impact is. To me, even if all we did was collapse this and push them back a couple of months, that's good enough for me. It does not solve the nuclear problem with Iran. It does not solve the fact that you have an awful, oppressive regime in Iran. But it did put a stop, at least for now, to a rapidly escalating fight. So, why can't they just take the win? And why do they have to turn it into some goofball nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize today? Some sycophant trying to impress the leader by nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, settle down. To me, it was, and perhaps you heard Dean Phillips on with Chad Hartman today. It's good. It was good. It was not the obliteration. It's always got to be over the top. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we are going to talk a little bit about the one bomb that, without question, I can vouch for that bomb landing, and that was the F-bomb that President Trump launched today. We'll talk about that in the DeRUSHA Hour News headlines. The lead. Let's break in just a minute. Really interesting story about when it's okay to approach an athlete for an autograph. We're in a weird world when it comes to autograph hunting. There is a run-in with the WNBA player that raises some questions. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, last night we fired up the grill, and I finally got to put those beautiful pork chops on that grill. Oh, man. It's Jason here for my friends at the Minnesota Pork Board. And, bacon is just the beginning when it comes to Minnesota pork. The flavor options when you get into summer just are so dang good. And it's all thanks to those family farmers. When you think of pork, I want you to think of farmers. 3,000 family farmers every corner of this state working so hard to bring you lean, high protein, packed with flavor, delicious pork. Maybe it's a pork tenderloin. Marinate that bad boy or get it already marinated from your butcher shop. Oh, delicious. Delicious. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, I'm going to put up the picture of last night's pork dinner, and look at those bone-in pork chops. Packed with flavor. So feel good about it. You're supporting Minnesota agriculture. You're supporting Minnesota pork farmers. So many options. If you're looking for recipe inspiration, do it at mnpork.com, but you don't have to do much. When you take a beautiful pork chop, put some salt and pepper, and throw that on the grill. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hi, I'm Adam Saba, third generation at Dodge of Burnsville. As a business owner, you need commercial vehicles that have the power you need, room for your gear, and service you can count on. Let me introduce you to Business Link at Dodge of Burnsville. We have a complete line of commercial vehicles to get you and your crew on the job, and an award-winning service department that is and gives you peace of mind. Stop in today and see why nobody sells more commercial Ram trucks than Dodge of Burnsville. That's why we are the King of Ram, just off Cliff Road and 35W or kingofram.com.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
Oh, so there's a little bit of a dark humor involved too?
Oh, yeah, a lot of it, in fact.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Outside of WCCO, we see this all the time. Not because people are trying to collect Dan and my autograph, but we see it at the hotel next door, where a lot of times athletes stay. You see this crowd of people with these big books of trading cards trying to get autographs. And it's a weird deal. It's a weird deal. It has become an industry. So here in Minnesota, a story recounted at The Athletic, the LA Sparks were in town. And Kelsey Plum, a big time player with the LA Sparks, has a run-in with the Minnesota guy. So Kelsey Plum is like near Target Center because they're playing the Lynx. And she's big time, 3-time WNBA All-Star. Her autographed trading cards have value. And these guys are waiting outside her hotel because that's where autograph hounds wait. They wait outside the hotel. She said that she thought it was weird for men to be waiting outside of her hotel with books of things to sign. Don't you find it kind of weird, like low key, she said. She wasn't like freaking out. She, in fact, signed one of these cards. Now, the man in the encounter who is asking for autographs has a TikTok account. And he's got a local eBay store. Well, he's local, but he has an eBay store. His name is Nick Peterson. And while I don't think there's anything creepy about waiting outside a hotel for autographs, I do find it to be weird. So to me, I'm a no on creepy. I'm a yes on weird. Let me play you the audio of the interaction. It's a little hard to hear, but you'll hear Kelsey walking up. So he's holding like a bunch of her cards. I don't like the autograph hounds outside of the hotel. And if I were a player, I wouldn't want to sign any of that because you know where it's going. And Dan, you see these guys all the time. And usually it's baseball teams.
Baseball teams staying next door, yeah.
Right. And The bummer of this is, and this has been an issue for a long time, because my kids, when they were little, had baseball cards for every Minnesota Twins player. And they sent the cards to the players to get them autographed.
Mhm.
And I had them write like a handwritten letter. So the players would know that this wasn't, this was the handwriting of an 8-year-old, not the handwriting of like somebody who's going to go turn around and sell it.
Right.
So this selling autographs issue has always been a thing. But I think like social media and the video aspect of it and the fact that, you do have players today worried more about stalkers and weirdos and whatever, to have people camping out of the hotel and sort of, in this case, the team moved from one hotel to another.
Mm-hmm.
So that made the players especially like, what the hell? Like, how do you know we're over here? And these guys had just heard the bus driver talking and then they followed the bus driver.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do about it, but if I were a player, I didn't
have any problem with what Kelsey said, and then she ended up signing for it anyway. Where I get annoyed with these guys, look, I mean, if you can get autographs and make money off of them, you have the right to do that. It's a capitalist country. Go do your thing.
Yep.
Just don't be frauds about it, right? Don't sit there and say, well, I'm actually just a really big fan.
I'm a fan.
No, you're not a big fan. You're a guy trying to make some money, and you have the right to do that. And then you read the quotes the guy gave in the newspaper article, and, well, people do this and it brings them a lot of joy. And these athletes, why won't they just? No. Meanwhile, he's making how many thousands of dollars on eBay? He's got his own storefront on eBay,
right?
Selling these things, right? Just be honest about what you're doing. Some of the athletes have tried to get around this, and this is where I really kind of get annoyed. Is some of the athletes try to get around this by telling these guys, "I'm only signing for kids." In with your example of the kids sending cards,
right.
I'm only going to sign for the kids because then I know it's not. And so when you see one of these guys with their binders full of cards and there happens to be a little kid standing next to them, guess what that's about?
Right.
Then they send the kid to go get the autograph. And that's where it's almost like a game at that point that they're trying to beat the system. And that's where it gets just distasteful to me. Again, you can do what you do. It's a free country.
Yep.
But to complain about an athlete not signing because she's a little concerned that you figured out what hotel that they're moving to. Yeah, I think that's a fair concern on her part.
I think you're being nicer about this than I am. I think that this culture, the selling of autographs, and I understand there's a market, and I understand this is America, but I do think they've ruined it for real fans and for kids. Because if you're a player, you're always on guard. And you're like, now, some of this is just player selfishness, right? Where they're trying to protect their own money and their own signings where they get paid. But I think for a lot of players, like, look, you want to be nice to the fans. You don't have an industry without the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And like, do you really, every time you leave your hotel or come back to the hotel or at the airport or wherever these guys are, texts are saying that some of the biggest names in WWE are having problems with airports.
Airports especially. They get mobbed at airports.
I mean, these are public places. You're a public figure, but shouldn't there be like, I don't know, you can't legislate
That's
it?
just it. You can't make a rule against it. It's not like the hotels, and you see this up the road, the hotels will usually rope off an area and say, okay, it's a public sidewalk, but you have to at least remain in this area. And you can ask, there's nothing wrong with asking, and the player has every right to say no. So, I only sign at the ballpark, or I only sign at the arena, or I always, you know what I'm saying? Or I only sign for kids. There are ways that you can get around it without being a complete jerk about it. And like I said, I don't think Kelsey was a jerk at all. I don't think Kelsey did
so either.
anything wrong. I thought she handled it beautifully. So
it's a challenge. And frankly, I think there's a gender component to this too, that when you have WNBA female athletes, when it was, I mean, these are mostly guys who are these autograph hounds who are selling this stuff. So when you have guys who are staking out the hotel of the women athletes, sorry, it adds a different component to it.
Absolutely does.
It just, I find it very strange.
And at the same time, you mentioned you're a public figure. There's going to be added stuff that you have to deal with as a public figure. Should you have to? No, but we're just being practical. That's there. And so again, there's a way to handle it and there's a way, not to handle it. Teams obviously are increasing security and making sure that, their athletes are being looked after, and they should. It's a shame that this sort of thing has to happen. It just is. And this is the world we live in.
Yeah. Minnesota. What are we doing? It always makes me nervous when I see some sort of national story and it's like, and the Minnesota connection is like, oh no.
Just when you see this story like this, or you see a social media post from a guy like this, you're not feeling sorry for the autograph seeker at that point. Sorry.
I don't think so. We're going to break. When we come back, DeRUSHA Eats, incredible story of a couple of local entrepreneurs who started with one pizza place, and I think they just opened this week their 10th. Crazy growth. Tono Pizzeria and Cheesecakes. The co-founders join us in just a minute here on Drive Time.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO. While you were flipping brats, a senator flipped on a big controversial issue. While you were lakeside enjoying a campfire, Wall Street was quietly setting your 401k on fire. And while you're backed up on the 7th tee box, construction has created a backup of biblical proportions on 94. Just a reminder that summer doesn't mean the world stops. It just means you need a smarter way to keep up. So between innings at the ball field, ice cream brain freezes, and laps mowing the lawn, make sure you check back often. News Talk 830 WCCO, where there is no off-season for news.
If you have doubts about your retirement readiness, listen to the Retirement Reality Report with Mark Dillon and David Linsky of L3 Family Wealth Partners. Join the Linskys Saturday mornings at 11 right here on WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use, B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034, or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Adam Carter for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment, but now it's mainstream. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now at 612-254-7123. 612-254-7123. That's 612-254-7123.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
When it comes to DSPs, usability matters. Some platforms bury you in complexity. Results-driven advertising shouldn't look like a chemistry experiment. Viant's AI-powered DSP streamlines setup, automates measurement and optimization, and keeps you in control. Less clicking, more strategy. And with proven CTV leadership across premium publishers, Viant works smarter and delivers stronger. Why are you still trading on a desk? Visit Viant.ai to unlock real results today.
For 50 years, Newgate School has been serving the Twin Cities community by providing automotive training for young adults, job placement, and support for single mothers with reliable cars. That calls for a celebration. Join us August 2nd for an epic car show, food trucks, live music, awards, and activities for the whole family. Celebrate 50 years of Newgate and a world of difference. Visit newgateschool.org for details.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
The slow ride north 169, Highway 62, heading up toward Highway 55, 35W slowing in both directions between basically Diamond Lake Road and downtown. If you're traveling West 94, that continues to be a slow ride into downtown Minneapolis as you come in from Snelling Avenue. Up on the north side, 35W northbound, noticing some slowdowns there. County Road D heading up to 694. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, weather brought to you by Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, Twin Cities catering leader at Dickeys.com. Here's Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will increase tonight as we settle back to around 65 by tomorrow morning. Speaking of morning, that's when we expect the rain to arrive. Perhaps a few isolated rumbles of thunder. Not expecting anything severe, but we are expecting a pretty good soaking. 71 tomorrow's high with more rain on Thursday, drying out Friday and warming up. It'll be humid as well. Saturday we could hit 90.
It's warm out. Sun's out. Nice day. Nice day. 82 in downtown Minneapolis on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA resumes now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRUSHA. He has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like our favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard as Drive Time transitions into DeRUSHA Eats.
And DeRUSHA Eats is brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board. Today we have a story of two guys who started with one pizza place, and over the last 6 years, effective this week, have opened 10. Pretty amazing growth. And they got one of them in my town of Maple Grove. It's a delicious pizza. And the cheesesteak, I don't want to say which is better. We'll ask our guests who are with us in studio for DeRUSHA Eats. Shaz Khan and Antonio Gambino are with us from Tono Pizzeria Cheesesteak. It's good to see you guys.
Hello. Good to see you too. Good
How,
to see you.
How'd I do with my Antonio Gambino?
It was spot on, just like we practiced.
That's right. Can you guys believe that you just this week in Elk River opened your 10th Tono?
It's been a wild ride. I mean, honestly, to see the communities come out and support us. I mean, some of the folks we see have been to every single one of our openings, which is a testament to everything that we're trying to build. And that's a spot for the community to get together.
What do you think, Antonio, the key to success has been?
First, I mean, obviously having great food. But I think a lot of people have great food. I think to really set yourself apart, it's the service, it's the hospitality, it's your staff. All of those things combined, I think, separates us from other people.
Started in Maplewood. And although you guys have been thinking about pizza and thinking about cheesesteaks for a long time, why don't you tell the family history behind this?
Well, it's your family. Go ahead, man. Shaz tells it better.
Shaz tells it better.
Yeah.
It's your family.
Yeah. My dad's from Italy. My mom's from Philadelphia. I grew up there. We moved here in '93. I grew up in Minnesota too. I grew up in the pizza industry. Summer breaks from school were me going in and working with my mom and dad and helping any way I can. Even though I was a young kid, I couldn't do a ton. Through that, I just fell in love with the industry. I just love making pizzas, and seeing people's reaction is really what it's all about. And when they enjoy your product and your food, it feels great. Graduated high school. Worked full time with my parents downtown Minneapolis, in 811 LaSalle, and Andrea Pizza.
Andrea Pizza.
Yeah, we have 3 locations down here still. My brother owns 2. I own 1. And Shaz and I went to high school together, and we're like, we got to do something together eventually. And I just was like, hey man, What do you think?
Well,
We open up a pizzeria in Dinkytown.
He's skipping one part, and that's that he tried to get me to do his homework in high school.
That was his first job. It was his first test. If you can do this, you
My
can do
response was,
anything.
of course, you're gonna have to pay me.
Well, right. Yeah. Yeah. If the money's
Yes.
good enough, I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah. This is a true
Shaz,
story.
you didn't know what a cheesesteak was, right?
That's absolutely correct. He told me he wanted to, bring back the cheesesteak, and I'm like, what do you mean bring back? I don't even know what that thing is. So yeah, we flew out to Philly where he gave me the introductory tour to both some of his extended family back in 2014, I want to say, as well as all of the spots, Pat's, Gino's, Prince, etc. And came back, and he was just honing in on his craft every weekend, every day, almost. He would have some modification to this masterpiece that he was calling the cheesesteak, and every time it got better. So I saw somebody who was deeply dedicated to his craft, and I knew that with the pizza, but now I got to see it happen with the sandwich, and I was like, all right, he's serious, so I got to be serious.
Describe the pizza style, because it's cooked. You see the beautiful pizza oven right in all of the stores. It's cooked pretty fast, but it's not Neapolitan. It's not that fast.
It's not. I would say it's like a Neapolitan, which is a new version of the Neapolitan, where it's like a hybrid New York and Neapolitan with the char, the quality ingredients, just more crispier,
firm
than a Neapolitan.
undercarriage.
Yes,
if you want to nerd it out, right?
No water, no nothing, just
No
a
water.
nice crispy pizza. But I would say higher quality than a typical New York slice that you would get at a slice shop, right?
And what's your most popular pizza, and then what's your guys' favorites?
Wow, our most popular.
Just whenever someone says most
a margarita.
Yeah.
Still,
really? Just straight up.
It
margarita.
is. It is.
That's
it's
the real
$11.
test of
It
authenticity.
is. It is.
True.
If you can do a good margarita, you can really branch off and make other great pizzas.
Plus the price, $11.
Yeah, I mean that's
great.
Yeah, I mean I think we always discuss how do we become a spot that's better for lunchtime and give. I mean you go out to eat nowadays and it's like $30 just to by the time you check out. So I was like, how do we get a fast, casual, great quality pizza?
What's your go-to, Shaz? What do you order?
So to be honest, this is more of a new thing for me, but I actually really enjoy our gluten-free crust. Like I'm not gluten-free, but I eat it. I just love the flavor. It's a cauliflower base, and it's unlike any other cauliflower crust that I've tried. To be quite honest, I really like it. But I'm a Classico guy. Just a plain cheese pizza. That's the tried and tested variant for me. But I'm also a big fan of mushrooms, so we have a fungi, and
We
my
like the
second favorite.
fungi, the fungo. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fungo.
Fungo.
Yes. I'm a fun guy.
Yeah. I tried to correct you really subtly, though. I tried to do it really subtly. Our guests are Shaz Khan and Antonio Gambino from Tono Pizzeria and Cheesesteak. So how do you go from 1 to 10? Like in 6 years? It's so fast. The cost of rent in so many of these locations, especially as you've been expanding really very much into the suburbs. You started in Maplewood. Was St. Paul number 2?
Yep.
And then you look at all of your locations. You're in Apple Valley, Inver Grove Heights, Chan, Woodbury, Coon Rapids. What did I miss? Southwest Minneapolis, Maple Grove.
Yep.
So
Elk River.
it is, that's a crazy rate of expansion. So how do you do it? How do you get the money?
Well, we have great partners. We're half of the Tono tribe at the ownership level. We've expanded that partnership to more friends of ours, actually, who, we have in-house construction, we have in-house real estate expertise. And between all of us, and our primary lending institution, we make it all work. So, we're very grateful not to have had to go outside for capital for growth. And that's allowed us to do things creatively and efficiently.
Pretty great. It has to be gratifying to have that network of friends, that network of people you know and you trust, because you're both pretty young, right? How old are you, Antonio?
41.
41, and Shaz?
40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 50, so I look at you and I'm like, you're a couple of young guys. Yeah. You hang around with 20-year-old employees. They think you're very old.
Right.
But that is like, when you look at local, I don't know. Do you like being described as a chain? You're
No.
You're close. You're a multi-unit restaurant, though.
So yeah, absolutely.
You're close to punch size, right? How many spots do they have?
Around the same, I think.
I think they got to 12 or 14
Yeah.
at some point.
We have a couple more coming soon this year. So you're looking at me like
where are you going? Who's getting a Tono? Give me a clue.
Well, I can give you the location.
All right.
The news is out there somewhere. So North Loop's getting one.
That's right. Yes.
And
Congrats.
go ahead with the other one.
Wyzetta.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Are there differences for you? Like, I mean, the communities you cover are so different. Obviously, you're in Elk River, and you'll see how that develops. But you look at like Chanhassen versus St. Paul, or what the North Loop experience. That might want more late night, right? Like, who knows? Are all the stores different, or do they end up being pretty similar?
As far as like operating hours, or just
like your experience with them, the way
gas.
the gas.
Yeah, I would say like when you look at sales, they can differ a little bit to like Coon Rapids, Elk River, those locations. I mean, we sell a lot of cheesesteaks versus pizza, where it's like St. Paul, it's more heavy pizzas. We still sell a lot of cheesesteaks. As far as the late night, it's definitely something we're going to look into with the North Loop being so close to kind of where everyone hangs out at the bars and all that. But yeah, I mean, we try to, each store has its one unique pizza. So I try to build it around to what I think that community would like. Sometimes I do good, sometimes not so good.
Having that sort of local connection.
Yeah. We want it to feel, I mean, we discuss it all the time. We don't want to ever feel like a chain. I think a lot of people walk in and feel like this is still a Minnesota brand from Minnesota guys that are doing a great job and care about each community that they're in. And we kind of hand those tools off to our general managers and our staff, and like, this is your store. You own this. You know, when people walk in to Maple Grove, they should know you. We want it to feel that connection, not like you walk into this big chain and there's new employees every day, right?
Texters are asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're talking about Antonio or Shaz. Wondering if our guest is a relation to Mario, who had a pizza place in Matamida. No.
I don't know if I should say yes.
Yes.
That's my uncle.
That's your uncle.
Yeah.
Your uncle had
on my dad's side, Mario. Yeah, Mario Gambino.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
See, the texters know.
That's awesome.
What does it mean personally to kind of see the reception that you've had, see the jobs that you've created, see the kind of excitement when you end up opening a new store? Because you still, 6 years in, that shine is still there. I think whenever news comes that you're coming somewhere, people get excited, which I think is very unusual. It's very unusual.
And for me, it's by design, right? We work hard to maintain that shine and that polish, quite literally. We work hard with our team to embody our values and make sure that family feel, that sense of community, that sense of gathering is present in each and every store. So no matter what we scale to and how many stores we open, it always feels very intimate, like a place you can get together with friends and they know your name, the Cheers effect.
Is there a ultimate ambition for you guys?
Yes. I mean, I think we're responding to demand, right? And we always knew that we had really great product. And we see that people in different communities, like we hear people, right? Some of our locations, they came about, we started looking there because we saw our guests reaching out and saying, hey, you should come here. You should come here. And Elk River, Ramsey area, that was popping up repeatedly. And so, we want to keep meeting that demand. I'm not going to say the sky's the limit, but we're going to keep going as much as we can. A little bit of a side story: our sister brand, our predecessor, Frank and Andrea's, we're opening a second one so the first one's near the U of M campus, Dinkytown.
right?
Second one's going to be UW Madison campus. So, yeah, we're just,
Tono in Wisconsin, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll plant our feet, Frank and Andreas, and see where that leads us.
All right, stand by. I want to ask you guys other pizza that you like. So I'll give you moments. 3 pizza places in the Twin Cities that you guys like that are not your families. Antonio. Although good shout out.
Family dinner is going to be rough.
Good shout out to Mario's and Matamita. I love it. All right, let's break. DeRUSHA Eats with Antonio and Shaz from Tono Pizzeria. Coming back in a minute.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, it's Jason here. And if you want to look good, and you guys want to look good, right? Men out there, take care of yourself. Take care of your fashion. I think a lot more guys are spending time not worried, but putting some effort, putting some time into what they're wearing. I think TikTok has a lot to do with that. Social media, you see things and think, I do want to look good for date night. For me, I get advice at J.H. & Sons. J.H. & Sons is at the Galleria in Edina. The team over there is unbelievable. So for me, I need help when I go shopping for clothes, right? Like, I know what I like, but I need some input and some advice. And you're going to meet Kevin and Bryce, and the absolute best tailor in the Twin Cities is Dean. So you'll go in. Maybe you're going back to the office in the fall and you want a suit that looks great. Go to J.H. & Sons. Dean will measure you up. This thing, you're going to look amazing. You already look fine. Don't get a complex. Just get the help. Premium menswear for guys who deserve it. That's you. J.H. & Sons at the Galleria. You can sign up for their email list. Do it at jhndsons.com.
We're gonna win, Twins. We're gonna score.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Got some heavy stuff out there. Get ready for it as you cruise the entire system, actually. 94 westbound, that's slowing. Move between County Road 81 heading up into Rogers. 10 westbound jamming up. Foley over to Round Lake Boulevard. If you're going to be traveling on the south side, 35W southbound jammed up 98th Street down to Highway 13. 494 northbound. Watching some slowdowns there. Valley View as you head up toward 394. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRUSHA here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Weather is brought to you by the Canopy Group, and it is sunny and lovely. What a night to go to Target Field, right? Looking very nice in downtown Minneapolis, 81 degrees there. Next couple days are kind of messy. Rain tomorrow afternoon, and it looks like it may rain straight through Thursday, high of 71. Things start warming up on Friday, and then the weekend, Saturday is going to be hot. 81, mostly cloudy, CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
3 hours.
No, thanks.
3 hours.
That's too long. 3 hours?
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Back with DeRUSHA Eats. Our guests are from Tono Pizzeria and Cheesesteak, which just opened their 10th location. They started 6 years ago from one store to 10. Pretty great story, and they're continuing to rise, sharing 2 more new locations that are opening soon here in the Twin Cities. Antonio Gambino and Shaz Khan are with us. First, we congratulate Barb in Minneapolis, who just won that 4-pack of tickets for the July 4th game, the Twins game on our Twins Ticket Tuesday. She heard the crack of the bat, so congratulations. 3:10 start. Be a fun way to celebrate the 4th of July. You can get tickets at twins.com/tickets. Okay, Antonio and Shaz. Pizza, you've tried a lot. 3 pizza places that you guys like that are not your own.
3 each?
You
3
could
total.
3 total. Whatever. 3 each.
I'll go first. I would say it's Surly. I think they have a really good pizza.
That's a good pizza. The upstairs.
Yes. I enjoyed it.
I
That's
like
probably
that.
the best I've had
All
in
right.
Minnesota.
Antonio gives the love to Surly. That's very good. How about you, Sha?
Red Wagon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's
that place is special too. Like you just feel good when you go into that restaurant, you know?
Yeah, they're doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, hospitality is the name of the game, and they're doing it right.
They let you split a pizza in half, which I think is like the ultimate hospitality. So you could do like half of the banh mi and half of the whatever. And I think that's pretty cool. One other you guys like?
I'll do Rectangle.
Yeah, the Detroit style pizza.
I thought he was going to say Costco. I mean, what? Why are you laughing?
I mean, for the price, like
listen,
that
it's good
Costco,
pizza.
That Costco pizza is pretty good. It is pretty good.
It is good.
Do you guys get sick of eating pizza ever?
Occasionally.
A little bit.
I
yeah.
can probably eat a cheesesteak daily. It's not like a nighttime thing.
You
Morning
both
pizza.
are so skinny. Like if you guys are watching this on YouTube, this makes no sense.
There's a lot of fat Tonys in this guy. That's why we named it Fat Tony. There's a lot of That's my
I don't
go-to.
get sick of it. I mean, yeah. It's just I don't know. It's exciting every time.
Well, we're so thrilled for your success. Congratulations on Elk River, the latest store that just opened.
Thank you so much.
And from 1 to 10, and let's go to 20 and 30 and 40. Why not?
I love it.
If people want it, they'll get it.
It's pizza, man. Dan Cook, the pickiest eater in the world. Pizza is always a
What's my favorite food? Pizza. So
That's they have salads too. You know, I always get a salad.
Yeah.
You
You're
gotta
like,
throw it
"Yeah."
on there. You gotta throw it on there. You know? You gotta have something green.
Thank you, guys. DeRUSHA, our news headline, the lead coming up, the big time bomb the president dropped today. We'll talk about it next.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people are looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Adam Carter for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment, but now it's mainstream. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now at 612-254-7123. 612-254-7123. That's 612-254-7123.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Summer's here, and now's a perfect time for that new roof. Head to honestexteriors.com and get an instant quote. Get 0% financing on roofing, siding, windows, and gutters at Honest Exteriors. Local pros, honest work. Visit honestexteriors.com.
The news you need from the station you trust. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Always streaming on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The summer heat is blasting much of the eastern U.S. like a furnace.
For several cities in the Northeast, it was the hottest day in over a decade. Records being set in New York City and in Newark, New Jersey, where they hit 103 degrees today.
Meteorologist David Parkinson, Jim Krasula reports on how some are managing to stay cool.
This woman and her family enjoyed the refreshing surf at famed Ocean City, Maryland.
If you're near the water and you can get escape from it for a little bit in the breeze, I think it's manageable.
Some 160 million people are under heat alerts from the Mississippi River all the way east to the Atlantic coast.
Iran and Israel are observing their ceasefire, as Robert Berger reports from Jerusalem.
The ceasefire is holding after getting off to a rocky start. Israel planned to retaliate with a significant airstrike after Iran fired 2 missiles at Israel, but the warplanes turned back after President Trump demanded restraint.
A source familiar with an intelligence assessment of the U.S. strikes on Iran claims they set back Iran's nuclear program by months, but did not obliterate the facilities, as President Trump has claimed. The White House calls the assessment flat out wrong. The administration canceled classified briefings for lawmakers today. Senator Chuck Schumer.
Why won't they engage Congress in the critical details? The results of the recent strike, the scope and trajectory of the conflict, the administration's long-term strategy.
President Trump is in the Netherlands for a NATO meeting, which Linda Kenyon reports may or may not go smoothly.
On the flight over to the Netherlands, President Trump cast some uncertainty over his views of Article 5 of the NATO alliance. When asked if he would abide by the Article's mutual defense guarantees, he said it depends on your definition of Article 5. The president did say he would commit to being friends with the NATO allies and that he is committed to saving lives.
With the growing number of arrests and migrant detentions, the administration's working with Florida on more detention centers.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced FEMA will help fund the new facilities. In a video on his X account, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier touted a proposed site at an abandoned airfield in the Everglades. Deportation flights could leave straight from there.
As I call it, alligator Alcatraz.
Uthmeier says if any detainee tried to escape, they'd face alligators and pythons. Immigration attorney Heriberto Hernandez is appalled.
It keeps reinforcing this hatred towards immigrants.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Oil prices tumbled again today and stocks soared. The Dow Jones Industrials finished up more than 500 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour on the hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy skies, 82 degrees at 5:03. I'm Susie Jones. It's just coming in this afternoon, the $1.5 billion sale of the Minnesota Timberwolves from Glenn Taylor to an investment group led by e-commerce entrepreneur Mark Lohr and former baseball star Alex Rodriguez was approved by the NBA Board of Directors. This finalizes a complex and contentious process that started more than 4 years after the deal was reached. Governor Tim Walz spending the day in Beltrami County, Minnesota, where storms packing winds of more than 120 miles an hour tore through the region, taking down trees, power lines, and damaging buildings. Beltrami County Administrator Tom Berry speaking at a press conference after surveying the damage with the governor.
I can tell you firsthand that growing up in South Florida, as a youngster, having gone through many hurricanes, I can tell you that this is exactly what it feels like.
Republican State Senator Steve Green represents the area.
If you look at some of the stuff going on too, it's the community. We have the tribal leaders here that are pledging their support as well, and people joining together to help their neighbors. This is Minnesota. This is what we do here.
The governor praising the emergency management team and forecasters who alerted residents with about 20 minutes to spare.
That is incredible work by the forecasters who get us the information, but it's incredible work by these folks who know now is the time, not to scare people, not to cry wolf, but to get people protected.
Beltrami County is one of the poorest counties in the state with 25% of its land taxable and a 17% poverty rate. Union workers, represented by the Minnesota Nurses Association in the Twin Cities and Duluth, have authorized their contract negotiators to call a strike as soon as next month.
The vote authorizes a strike by some 15,000 nurses in the Twin Cities and Duluth. This comes as negotiations continue for nurses at 13 hospitals. Jess Busselman is one of the union's negotiators and says the talks are not going well.
Alina needs to remember, it's the workers who've kept these hospitals running. It's the nurses who show up day and night for people in those beds. We shouldn't have to march on the streets just to be treated with respect. But if that's what it takes, we'll be out there.
The union must give a 10-day notice before a walkout can start. In St. Paul, Al Schuck, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And the Twin Cities Hospital Group representing management is calling the vote disappointing. Melissa Hortman will lie in state at the Minnesota State Capitol building in St. Paul on Friday with a private funeral set for the next day. Hortman and her husband and her dog were all shot and killed in what many are calling a politically motivated attack. WCCO radio political analyst Blois Olson.
I have no doubt that there will be more honors as they come. I think there'll be potentially buildings named and things like that. So appropriately so.
Mark Hoffman and the family's dog are also going to be lying in state on Friday. The public can pay their respects at the state capitol building from noon till 5 p.m. Finally, we are learning more about an escape today from the Hennepin County Courthouse.
A suspect fled the Hennepin County Courthouse this morning following a sentence hearing where he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, prompting an immediate search by law enforcement. He's being described as a muscular black male with shoulder-length dreadlocks and a tattooed torso. He was last seen heading southbound on 7th Street. Authorities are asking anyone who sees him to call police. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830, WCCO.
WCCO news time is 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Crosstown westbound slowing 28th Ave all the way over toward Highway 100. North 169 got your slowdowns continuing. Highway 62 as you head up toward Medicine Lake Road. 10 westbound still jammed up. Foley heading up to Round Lake Boulevard. And 94 westbound watching speeds below the posted as you move between County Road 81 all the way up into Rogers. Attention motorists, Laguna, Minnesota wants you to slow down when driving in construction zones. You're now entering their work zone where they are building a better Minnesota for you. So please slow down when you see the orange cones and yellow vests and save lives. Brought to you by Laguna, Minnesota. Visit buildthenorth.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And it is brought to you this time by Gutman Law, Wills, Trusts, and Probate Law, gutmanlaw.com. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
We'll stay dry overnight, but those clouds will be increasing, falling back to 65. Rain by morning looks like it could last throughout much of the day. 71 the afternoon high. Some towns could see a pretty good soaking. More rain on Thursday. I don't think it'll be as much as tomorrow, but it will linger as well with a high of 72. Drying out Friday and Saturday. We could hit 90 on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Chris. Right now, mostly cloudy, 82 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Where what just happened meets what you should think about it. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRUSHA. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRUSHA.
Man, it is sunny and beautiful out today. Last night was an absolute gorgeous night at Target Field. However, on the field, well, we'll take the temperature of the Twins coming up. But you don't even need the fancy thermometer to give yourself a good read on the temperature of the Twins right now. What, they gave up 11 last night?
Yeah.
And I think over the last 3 games against the Brewers, they gave up a total of 35. So we're up to 46 in 4 games.
Yeah, some give or take another 38 runs or so. Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Not great. Not great. But it's always a beautiful night at the ballpark. It just is. Not that I'm making excuses for the quality of the play, but it is a great place to hang out for sure. 5:10, it's time to do the DeRUSH Hour news headlines. Let's do the lead.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRUSH Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight with.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And our lead story is the ongoing conversation about Iran and how effective the U.S. attack was. Late this afternoon, multiple news organizations reporting that the initial 5-page assessment, the classified report as to what our attack on Iran's nuclear program did, indicates that we didn't collapse their underground buildings. So Operation Midnight Hammer hammered the entrances to 2 facilities, but did not collapse their buildings. There is one bomb, and the White House disputes that report, of course, but the reality will probably take days or weeks to sort out. There was a bomb that was launched at the White House earlier today, and it was a bomb from the president himself.
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. You know what? We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.
Whoa. Well, that bomb landed. That's the old F-bomb. Yeah. Uh, so, you know, give me a break. I mean, it's fine. I do I prefer the president of the United States to not use the F-bomb? Sure. Is it a somewhat accurate way to describe the actions of Israel and Iran? You know, that's your call. That is your call. Uh, we will, hopefully, I don't know, are we ever going to know what to believe about these attacks? You know, the White House will continue to talk about obliterating their competition. Let's go on to page story 2. And that is the continued search for whoever was responsible for the killing of an 11-year-old boy. 11-year-old boy shot dead at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in a North Minneapolis park. A 29-year-old professional calf roper and a Marine who was relaxing on his North Minneapolis porch jumped in to try to be a good Samaritan. This afternoon, we know the identity of the boy. He was 11-year-old Amir Atkins. We do not know exactly what happened. We do not know who shot this kid. We do not know where the guns came from. Was the 11-year-old targeted, or was he caught up in the crossfire? No answers more than 24 hours later, and I talked to the city council member for that area earlier on Drive Time, LaTrisha Vetaw.
I mean, I was out there yesterday for close to 3 hours, and there was just so many rumors flying. You know, like I really don't know what happened. And that's why I'm waiting until the investigation happens to find out more. I mean, there were just so many things. What you do, leave those things with, and what you wake up feeling is, what are we going to do to stop it from ever happening again? And there's so many things. It's not just about gun control. It's about, what are our children doing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Like, how did this happen had so many layers to it. And as a council member, that's what I'm interested in.
Right.
Finding out the facts about what happened, and what can I do at the city level, and who I need to work with at any level to make sure this never happens again.
That's LaTrisha Vetaw from the 4th Ward Minneapolis City Council member. There is a silver lining for sure in that Good Samaritan, Troy Young. He did a couple TV interviews, talked to the newspaper as well. But you think, like, here is another one of your neighbors who's just sitting on his porch when a boy runs by shouting that his brother had been shot, and this guy gets in his pickup truck and goes and just jumps into, he didn't know what he was jumping into. Not
at all.
Just an incredible sort of human neighbor helping a neighbor response there.
Absolutely. I'm so thankful for Troy. And he was on the scene yesterday, and I could see that he was shook up and he wanted to do better. As a community, we just have to keep encouraging him and let him know he did the right thing, and he's the hero. Like I said, him and Lieutenant Hand did their best yesterday.
And
they
that
really
lieutenant,
did their best.
You know, you do think it is the start of summer. This is my fear, right? That here we are at the start of summer. It is a time when young people are not in school. Maybe parents are still working. You have high temperatures, more time, idle mind, more time. All of these things that our parents used to say are still true. It is a challenge. It is a challenge. What do we do about it? LaTrisha Vetaw did say she thinks we've been too soft on criminals. And that has to change. Next, a change in, we hope, in the way that you get your state park pass. I think this is so cool. Minnesota trying to figure out, all right, how do we get more people to visit our state parks? How do we save money? How do we make it smarter? And joining us now on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline is Ben Berge, DNR Northwest Regional Manager, who's been a key part of this program. Ben, tell me what you guys are thinking about doing.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. And so,
Yeah, at DNR, we've been working with other state government and our deputy registrars here in Minnesota to think about how we can make it easier for Minnesotans to purchase what's being called an outdoor recreation endorsement at the time that they register or renew a vehicle here in Minnesota. And so, as you mentioned, making it easier for Minnesotans, ultimately reducing what it costs right now to get into a state park, and making it easy for people to invest in the outdoors, and ultimately their experience is what we're aiming for. And so the outdoor recreation endorsement is a way that Minnesotans can purchase this, and again, at a opt-in, so it's not mandatory. People make a decision to purchase at the time of registration or renewal, and to be all ready to get outside when that time comes.
And you'd have some sort of scanner or something that would scan the VIN number, or it would be linked to the license plate?
Yep. So linked to a license plate in some way. Generally, there's something visible. We haven't figured that out yet. Some states put little markers on their registration tabs that denote that that someone's paid. And so, yeah, it's similar to a park pass if you think it in that way. But the way we're visioning here in Minnesota is that it's not to steal words from Colorado. They look at it as more than a park pass, and that's something we're doing too as we think of Minnesotans getting outside. Many folks visit state parks. Others will visit state forest areas, state natural areas. And so making sure that we have the flexibility to maintain these outdoor spaces in the way that people have come to expect here, and the great resources that we have in the state.
The money from park passes go right to operating those 73 parks, those rec areas, for staffing, but we know, as much as we love our state parks and facilities, we know that there's a lot of dated buildings and facilities that could use upgrades. If we could, net you guys more money in a way like this, it just seems like a win-win to me.
Yeah, when you think about, when we talk about this to folks, they don't always understand. What do you mean you might lower costs for an individual, but ultimately, the revenues would increase? And so it's really about, maximizing the amount of people that have the opportunity to purchase. And when you think about, the old infrastructure we do have, it actually costs more to maintain that. It takes more staff hours to maintain that. And so we want to continue to be as efficient as we can, modernizing our outdoor facilities, and then ultimately being able to be efficient with the resources we have. And absolutely.
It's pretty cool. Ben Berge is a Northwest Regional Manager. He's been a part of this working group trying to figure out a new way to do the state park pass. And you think already, I got to say, like, the state parks pass is so cheap. I mean, $35, I think it is, for an annual pass, which is unbelievable. But you think, how many of us would just opt in? You're like, okay, $14, sure. And that's what Michigan does, the $14. And they found they had 13% with the annual pass originally.
Yeah.
And now they have 40%.
Yeah, so they're pushing 40%. Wow. And so over about the span of 14 years, they've increased their participation, over 3 times, and have seen really good success. And that's something we're hoping to do here in Minnesota as well. We know Minnesotans value their outdoor time and the resources that make that time so special.
Pretty cool stuff. Very good. Appreciate your time today. And appreciate your work on this. Ben Berge with the DNR with us on the DeRUSHA Hour News headlines. Thanks, Ben. We will turn the page and go to page 2 in just a minute. A Minnesota town that gives graduating high school seniors a heck of a gift. Don't get mad when you see a motorcycle weaving in and out of traffic, and the best cars you can buy according to Consumer Reports. That's coming up next.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Grown-ups, Aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 34 lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Miller Marine, we sell more, that's why we sell them for less.
Play before you pay. Now at Miller Marine and Power Lodge, Minnesota's Marine and Power Sports Superstore. For a limited time, don't miss 90 days with no payments or 5.99% APR stacked on exclusive truckload price savings we're passing on directly to you. So hitch up a new 20-foot Bennington, plus a free bunk trailer, custom cover, and inflatable paddleboard or raft for only $34,999 or as low as $282 per month. Angling for more hot deals? We got fishing boats for every budget, starting at only $19,990. Ignite your summer with zero payments while you throttle up your new Bennington, Premier, Lund, Ranger, Alumacraft, Sea-Doo, Polaris, Can-Am, or CF Moto. With 5 locations in Ramsey, Brainerd, Onamia, St. Cloud, and South Rapids, we sell more, so we sell for less. But don't wait. Play before you pay and launch your adventure at Miller Marine and Power Lodge.
Miller Marine, we sell more, that's why we sell them for less at Miller Marine.
We've all known someone who's been trying to sell their home for a long time and has had no success whatsoever. We also know someone who sold their home for a lot of money right after it goes on the market. You want to be that second person. You want to contact my friend, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Betty did just that. Betty was desperate to sell her home. She hired another agent before she called John. Her house sat on the market for more than 100 days. With no luck, John assured her he could get the job done, and he did. It only took him 16 days to sell Betty's home. You can hire the right agent the first time by contacting John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-291-3143. 800-291-3143.
Jason DeRusha is back on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRUSH Hour News headlines. It is a beautiful Tuesday. Let's start with some good news. A Minnesota town that gives graduating high school seniors a pretty amazing graduation gift, the gift of a scholarship.
Former principal Chris Dunshee and former gas station owner Royal Loven brainstormed the idea in 1987.
We'll put a big billboard outside of town on the highway that says, "Come to Swanville School. We give every student that graduates a scholarship."
The billboard never materialized.
Didn't have to.
But in a rural town that couldn't fill a suburban school auditorium.
Ethan Wimmer, St. John's University.
The scholarship stuck.
Pretty cool story from Swanville by Boyd Hooper to Care 11. Tiny little town of 300 plus people. The senior class got a total of $108,000. So when they first started this years ago, the average scholarship that first year was $166. This year, the average is more than $5,000. 1,000 years. If you think about the ways a community can support its future, that is pretty powerful stuff. Do not get mad when you see a motorcycle weaving in and out of traffic. The law changed. The law changed. It's fine. It is the new motorcycle lane splitting and filtering law. Lane splitting and filtering law. Legal starting as of July 1st. So a lot of publicity about this in advance of it, so people don't freak out when motorcycles start doing this. So the idea is when traffic is slow, so not when you're moving at highway speeds, but when traffic is slow or stopped under specific conditions, motorcycles, if they're not going more than 25 miles an hour, they can do it. So they can move between cars. They can move in between that right and left lane. The message to drivers is do not pull the Minnesotan lane blocker move. Do not be that guy, because you may get a legal penalty for doing that. And be alert. If you're in stop traffic or slow traffic, Minnesota Sportsman Recorder with a nice story about this. What are the best cars that you can buy?
A large touchscreen keeps everyone happy. The Subaru Crosstrek. Dog tested, dog approved.
Wow. Subaru Crosstrek ends up number 1. So they put out their top 10 picks of the year. And obviously, when you're looking at new cars, brands have differences within them. But the top 5 brands are unchanged. So Subaru is number 1. BMW was number 1. Now it's number 2. It's right about the same. Lexus is in 3rd place. Porsche and Honda. So those are your top 5. So Dan, pick your top. Do you want a Subaru, a BMW, a Lexus, a Porsche, or a Honda?
Probably a Lexus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take the Porsche.
Yeah, I don't trust myself with a car like that. So.
Well, and you only drive the speed limit, so what's the point?
Well, there's that.
Why? Audi moved up quite a bit. Mini and Acura both lost a little bit of ground. Kind of interesting. Cadillac fell a little bit because of their EV.
Hyundai and Kia, which is what we both drive.
Top 10,
right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Right.
The top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kia. Talk about a brand that was like a nothing brand.
Yeah.
I credit my ownership of the Stinger.
I mean, can't be proven otherwise.
When my friend John talked me into coming to take a test drive of this Kia Stinger, he had to convince me that it wasn't embarrassing to buy a Kia. I'm like, are you sure? It's like, come drive the car, you idiot. That's the DeRUSHA Hour News headlines at 5:30. Breaking news from the NBA that the Board of Governors unanimously approved the sale. Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez will officially be the owners of the Timberwolves and the Lynx when that $1.5 billion deal closes tomorrow. To get a little insight on it, we'll talk with the writer for the Minnesota Star Tribune. He's written a book about Anthony Edwards. Chris Hine joins us next.
Drive Time with DeRusha is on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Stop whatever you're doing. That noise in the background, it's just that. Background. What we do on News Talk 830 WCCO, not background. It's where breaking news meets real-time reaction, where the forecast could change your whole day or your whole commute, where big stories actually mean something because you're part of the conversation. We don't fade in. We break through. Foreground news, forefront voices. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain in the letter X.com.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple, snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies help me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINILEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is Traffic and Weather Together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Things a bit slow as you travel Highway 100, both directions between Highway 62 and 394. Eastbound 394 jammed up as move between 100 and downtown Minneapolis. North 169, some slowing. Highway 62 to 394. 694 slow both directions between 252 and 35W. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Summer's here, and now's a perfect time for that new roof. Head to honestexteriors.com and get an instant quote. Get 0% financing on roofing, siding, windows, and gutters at Honest Exteriors. Local pros, honest work. Visit honestexteriors.com.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Honest Exteriors bringing us the weather forecast. Here is Chris Schaefer.
Clouds will increase tonight as we settle back to around 65 by tomorrow morning. Speaking of morning, that's when we expect the rain to arrive. Perhaps a few isolated rumbles of thunder. Not expecting anything severe, but we are expecting a pretty good soaking. 71 tomorrow's high with more rain on Thursday, drying out Friday and warming up. It'll be humid as well. Saturday, we could hit 90.
Target Field going to the Twins game. First pitch is just about an hour away. It is 80 degrees. How good is that on CCO?
Jason DeRUSHA.
He's representing the state, everything. He should be a model citizen.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
It's A-Rod time. A-Rod and Mark Lori. Unanimous approval. I mean, it was sort of preordained, right? After the arbitration effort flopped. Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez will be the first non-local owners of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that happened with the NBA Board of Governors. The announcement came from them just before 4 o'clock our time tonight. Unanimously approved. Mark Lori will be the lead for the Board of Governors for the Timberwolves. Alex Rodriguez will be the lead for the Minnesota Lynx. But in practical purposes, they'll both be co-chairmen of both teams. It ends a long process where Glenn Taylor tried to cancel this sale in 2024. And I have a little bit of sadness. I'm excited about the future, but a little sadness that it won't be a locally owned operation. We wanted to bring in Star Tribune Wolves reporter Chris Hine, because the Vikings don't have local ownership, and now the Timberwolves join that. It's a little different. There's a little sadness, Chris.
Yeah, it is an end of an era. It absolutely is. And, I think Glenn Taylor's ultimate legacy was, at the end of the day, they didn't see a lot of success on his watch, but he kept the team here.
He kept the team here.
And
yes.
they are where they are right now because of that. And because the last few years, as Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez came aboard, they went out, got Tim Connolly, and it's lifted this franchise to heights that, it hasn't been to at all. And so Glenn's going out on a good note in that sense as the controlling owner. And ultimately the team is still here. Anthony Edwards is here. All this is happening because in 1994 he agreed to buy the team.
Yeah. I mean, certainly as a fan, I have my issues with we love to hate the owners, right? It's never the players that fail. It's, well, if the owner would have spent a little more money or if the owner would have done this.
Right. Exactly. It's, but Glenn was willing to pay money the last season here, $85 million or so in luxury tax. So, his last year as owner was, he forked over a decent chunk of change to keep this team competitive.
As we look at, the draft, we look at trades starting to happen. I mean, the big headline, of course, is, why did Kevin Durant not want us? Why did he not want? We are Minnesotans. We are very sad if someone doesn't want us.
Yes.
You have written and you interviewed Kevin Durant for your book and talking about the relationship those two have, right? And the admiration they have for each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of mutual admiration there. I interviewed Kevin Durant back in October for it. He sat down with him for about 15 minutes, and he just heaped praise on Ant the entire time, how much he loves him as a player, as a person. Yeah, he says he misses him, from their time in the Olympics. And, I was a little surprised when I heard that he didn't want to come to Minnesota and potentially pair up with Ant, but you never know.
And this is through sources and all of that.
Yeah,
right?
it's through ESPN and The Athletic kind of reporting that stuff out.
Agent stuff usually.
This stuff gets leaked all the time, right? But it's, you never know what the factors are, right? Is it the weather? Is it the income tax? Is it the fit? Whatever it is, you never know. But he has. I don't think that's changed his opinion of Ant or anything like that, who he just spoke so highly of back in October, and they had a great time together in the Olympics.
The truth is, as you look at the next era of the Timberwolves with new ownership, with really a gaping hole, KD doesn't fill that. It is somebody to run the point, right?
That would seem to be one of the areas that they need. Yeah, I think with Ant, you have to take some of that off of his plate. And listen, KD is such a great scorer, can get his own shot.
You'd
So
take him if you're going to take him for a year. Absolutely.
Right. But I think that's maybe where some of the sticking points were. Was, are you getting a year of Kevin Durant, or are you signing up for 3 years of it? Like, of that, it's very tricky to say what the priorities were and weren't for both sides.
Right.
At that moment. But I do think that the Wolves eventually need to find that person who's going to take a little off of Ant's plate, because Chris Finch has said multiple times that if Ant's going to be a true MVP caliber player, he sees Ant doing it as a two-way player and unlocking him on the defensive end of the floor as well. And I think that necessitates taking a little bit of the burden off of him when it comes to creating on the offensive end, because he spends most of his energy on a nightly basis on the offensive end of the floor, because every possession he's got the ball in his hands trying to make something happen for himself or his teammates. So if you want the idealized version of Anthony Edwards, it feels like you need a point guard who can kind of get his, run the show, create things, playing alongside of him.
Chris Hine is with us. Written the book about Anthony Edwards. That you've been doing a bunch of book events and book signings. First of all, like, what is that like?
It's very surreal. It's strange in a good way, because it's like, it's a dream come true to be able to do this, and then to have it out in the world now for about 3 weeks, and see people reacting to it and say, I really like this part or this and that, and people writing reviews on Amazon or Goodreads, places like that. You're crossing your fingers that they're all good.
You get that reaction when you write in the newspaper, but it's a different thing, right? It's not like someone looks at your article. And
this
one star
articles are, you're writing a new one every day. A book, I may not get another chance to write another book. So you hope people like it, and if people haven't liked it, they haven't told me. So
perfect.
That's been good.
That's nice. Yeah.
You can keep that opinion to yourself.
There's a little competition, I wonder, over at Star Tribune headquarters. Vanita this morning had Steve Grove on, the publisher, talking about his book.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you kick his butt. Like, I'm cheering for
it's
the
not
working
a competition.
By
the way, Steve, he comes to a decent number of Wolves games, and he comes over, says hello, and we chat at the games. And he kept asking me throughout the course of the season, when's the book coming out? How's the book coming along?
Cool.
So it was very cool to see him interested in his book, and wish him nothing but the best for his book as well.
Does he make the Star Tribune team? You guys have to go buy your own copy? I mean, is he giving you guys
I sent him a copy through my publisher. I don't know if he's gotten it, but he hasn't told me yet.
All right.
Yeah. Well, obviously with his book, I haven't gotten a copy yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Don't
get me in trouble here.
I don't want to get. I'm always trying to make trouble. Chris Hyde is here. He covers the Timberwolves, and his published author. New book is called Ant. That's been out in the wild for a little bit, but this summer, as people are kind of looking for things to read as they head out to the cabin or the lake, these really give you more of a picture of Anthony Edwards, the person. What I wonder as we go forward into this new ownership phase, there is a little bit of an advantage in that the team star player already has a pretty good relationship, at least so it seems, with A-Rod and with Mark Lowry, by nature of the fact that they've been at these games for a number of years, really.
Yeah. They're not coming.
It's not like a light switch. Who are you guys?
Right, exactly. It's not a typical ownership situation. They've been here about as long as Ant's been here.
Yeah.
They signed up. This agreement came into place his rookie year.
Oh, that's right.
So they've been around for 4 years now at this point, building that relationship from the top down. And Tim Connolly was their guy, so it's you're not gonna have to worry about the basketball side of things.
Right. Now the business side is all changing, right? And I know you cover more the basketball side than the business side, but you end up crossing paths.
No, I know Ethan and Ryan and
Ethan Casson
and Ryan Tanky.
And Ryan was the COO.
Yep. Ethan Casson, the CEO. So there's changes coming to the
business. Does that matter so much from the fan perspective, or is that more about sponsorship, corporate relationship?
I mean, listen, if there's, as we highly think, like new arena and things like that coming into the works, that's probably the fan experience and all that is going to come into play. But when it comes to the budget for signing a team, what team is going to be on the floor next season, that's not. Yeah, that doesn't really come into play.
Right.
It's expensive to run these things. It's very profitable, obviously,
when you sell.
Right, exactly. And some of the TV money, and we anticipate the NBA is going to expand, so there'll be some expansion fees coming in that'll be nice for everybody. But in the interim, when you're especially when you're trying to be competitive and you have to pay the luxury tax every year in addition to these salaries, it adds up.
Yeah. We're not crying for these guys.
We're not crying for these guys.
It is.
But it can affect what happens with your on-court product and what happens with your favorite team, their ability to pay or not pay these hefty bills that come their way. Yeah.
Pick up the book. It's called Ant. Really tells the personal story of Anthony Edwards from Georgia to here. Really appreciate having you on. Thanks for coming down, Chris.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
It's the afternoon ride with Jason DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about your summer with Livia. No sacrifices. It's all about real results. It's Jason here from my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. I was just at the Livia in Coon Rapids. Feeling good. 3 years after I started with the program, I lost 45 pounds. I started in the summer. You can do it too. Join today and get 3 months free with the Livia Nutrition Program, plus a free Lipo B12 injection to help boost your metabolism and boost your energy. Now, Livia has the medical weight loss solutions as well. I know many of you are interested in those, and I get it. Why wouldn't you be? Go to Livia. They've got GLP-1 medication starting at just $149. They've got the medication. They've got the medical side of it. They have the technology, but they also have the people. The people will keep you on track, make you feel your best, hold you accountable. Let's enjoy your summer. Get the expert support. That's what I needed. I went to Coon Rapids. They helped me get over the finish line. It's your summer. No sacrifices, just results with Livia. Visit Livia.com or call 855-GO-LIVIA to start today.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you.
Don't forget to stop at Thielen Meats of Pierce for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at ThielenMeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
O'Reilly.
Stay cool this summer with AC Pro Refrigerant at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro Refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. If your vehicle's AC is blowing hot air, beat the heat with AC Pro. Visit your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference. That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics. What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most. These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients. What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief. So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 612-254-7123. That's 612-254-7123. 612-254-7123.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. North 169 and Bren Road crash cleared out a few minutes ago. Still a bit slow, though, as make way between Highway 62 heading up to Medicine Lake Road, 494 northbound. That's a slow ride yet. As move between Highway 62 and County Road 6. 94 westbound slow is between 169 and Weaver Lake Road. Over on the east side, you will find some slowdowns on Highway 36, both directions between Rice and 35W. When a loved one passes or it's time to settle an estate, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, they help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment, AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Auto Owners is local, personal, and affordable. That's simple human sense.
Ask Miller Hartwig Insurance in Lakeville if auto owners make sense for you.
Now the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Pretty dang nice out right now, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be beautiful all night. Increasing clouds, low of 65. Tomorrow, rain with isolated thunder. High will be 71. Same deal on Thursday. So sort of afternoon rain, and it keeps on cooking. So we don't know. Night game for the Twins tomorrow, day game Thursday. I'm seeing a lot of events canceling for Wednesday night. We dry out Friday, Saturday, warm up could hit 90 on Saturday. 81, the average high, it's 81 right now. Weather brought to you by Miller Hartwig in Lakeville, proudly representing Auto Owners Insurance.
Let's roll with more of Jason DeRUSHA on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Get your wireless meat thermometer now at chefiq.com.
The temp of the Twins. Ice cold. Ice cold. This has been the temp of the Twins. I don't know, Dan. What do you say?
I mean, what do you say when they've lost 10 of their last 11 games, right? I mean,
11-2 against Seattle yesterday.
And we talked about this out at the ballpark yesterday. That's really the thing that bothers you is it's not this that you're getting beat, but that you're getting your doors blown off half the time. That's the part that gets demoralizing and difficult. And I don't know how you find your way out of it. And it's got to be, an enormous struggle for the players and the staff as they're trying to figure this out themselves. Because we know the talent's there. We've seen it earlier in the year. And
a lot of injuries, but not, Bailey's not injured. You know what I mean?
That's just it. It's neither is Paddock and neither is Sim and the bullpen is the bullpen and they're not getting it done. It's it's kind of a total, what was that term we had a few years ago? Total system failure. You're sort of seeing that.
Yeah. Seattle at the Twins for game 2 of 4. A 6:40 first pitch, pregame coming your way in just a couple minutes here on CCO. The news did break yesterday after our show from our friend Dan Hayes at The Athletic that Rocco Baldelli's job, because, the heat is on, right, when you're in a nosedive like that. The team has picked up their option for the next season. I actually think this is being overblown into more of a deal than it is. The timing of the news breaking, which it wasn't the news announcement, it was Dan on getting this from somebody.
Yeah. And he even said so in his article.
It's like the timing is unfortunate, but they have a team option. Obviously, they're going to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if the team has the option, that is to prevent the employee from bailing. I will tell you, WCCO Radio has picked up their team option with me, so I will be with you for a 4th year.
Isn't that nice?
And is that a better deal for me or for them?
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. It's always unclear. So I don't know that it's that big.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said,
you're sort of crazy to think you're going to fire Rocco while the team is sort of looking for a new buyer, unless, if it keeps going south,
that's the thing. If the ownership comes and says, nobody's showing up to the games, we have to do something to try and generate some kind of fan interest. Again, it's a lever that they can pull. This isn't Rocco's fault. Changing the person in the manager's office is not going to be what fix. is not going to be what fixes this.
Yeah.
But you can't fire the players. So at some point, if ownership decides, and that's just not how the Pullheads have ever run this team, so I don't expect that to happen. But, fans absolutely have a right to be upset about the way the team's playing right now.
Heck yeah.
And a lot of times that turns into, changes in a manager's office.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all of that. Hopefully the players can do their part and just turn some things around with some wins, right?
You just got to pitch better. Just flat out, you got to pitch better.
Just one stinker of an inning, too. That 6-run third. Not great for Bailey. Pre-game coming your way next. It's Paddock tonight. Let's go. It's so nice. I want to be drinking a beer on the patio. Seth and his girlfriend are making dinner for us. Woo! I might need another beer, depending on how that goes.
Hi, it's Vanita, and we know how great the John Schuster Group is, but it's